Hey, it's me. I figured I'd do another update. Last week and this week has been rough. I had some two big, well, technically three very big translation jobs come in. Two of them were video clip translations, so they're about 40 minutes each. Video clips where they don't have a script, so I had to make the script or type up what they were saying and then translate that and then create subtitles for those video clips. And video translation isn't one of my favorite things to do. It takes a long time because, especially if they don't have a script, you keep going over and over again, back and forth over the video clips that they have. And I think I ended up watching each clip around 30 or 40 times before I was all done. And then, you have to do the timing of this subtitling and yeah, it's not a fun process, but well, I got it done. And then I had another report that required some emergency translation. It was a big report, so I did that. So I've been worn out a bit. I think last week, was that last week? Yeah, I think it was the weekend, I think. This past weekend, Danny, Rando, and Russ, old friend of mine, Vertigo, they had their Movember charity stream over at Second Order of Chaos. So I decided to walk 13.37 kilometers. That's, I think, about, what was that? 8.3 miles, I think, something like that. I figured while they were doing it, just the least I could do. So I did that. So I hit a new goal. I hit a new milestone, 13 kilometers, longest distance I've walked so far. So it's been rough. The weather is it's getting colder, so night miles are becoming more and more difficult to do. I still prefer the cold over the heat, but I've also decided to set a goal before Christmas, hopefully, depending on the weather, and maybe after Christmas if the weather doesn't hold. I'm gonna walk the distance of a full marathon, a little bit more. Roughly, the route I'm planning right now is about 43, 44 kilometers. Yes, I will be war walking the whole thing, so that should give me some interesting data and numbers. But the goal is I'm gonna go see my grandmother. Obviously, my grandmother passed away years and years ago. It's been almost I don't know, close to 20 years maybe. Well, it couldn't be 20. 18, 17, 18 years ago. And I loved her. She's in a grave cemetery that is about 2 hours from the city of Tokyo. And with COVID, I don't think many people have been able to visit her grave. So I figured I'm gonna go using the train to get there and then walk back from there to my house. I figured it would be a nice way of closing out 2020 for me, and I'm turning 50 next year. So I wanted to do something memorable in my last years of 40. So in the 40s. Excuse me, no Rona. Also, I love my grandmother. I held her hand as she passed away in the hospital. My grandmother was a tough son of a gun. She got diagnosed with terminal cancer when I was about 8, I think. And the doctor says she had about a year to live. She ended up living 14, 15 years after that. Something like that. She was traveling. She traveled a lot too. She was traveling the month before she passed away, and she came home and she was like, "I'm feeling kind of down on my weather. I'm not that hungry anymore." And we said, "Well, we may want to go check up." And then Doc said, "Could be any day now." And then she held on for another 3 months or so from there. So, I could feel her life slipping away from her hand, but man, she had a tight grip right before she passed. And my grandmother was a baller. My grandmother and grandfather had a really, really interesting relationship. Is that they got married, divorced, and married again over and over again. And so at the end of the time, at the end when my grandfather passed, we didn't know if my grandmother was still married to him or not. It turns out that they weren't. But yeah, and my grandmother, she was just a bundle of joy. She was always happy. She could cook like no one could. I mean, our family, the 11 or 12 of us will get together very much like Thanksgiving in the U.S., I guess, over New Year's in Japan. And she would have a full spread out, like literally to feed like a whole school. And, her favorite pastime was she was cooking for the sisters by a church nearby lunch every day. And this is for like 20, 30 people, including church staff. And she did it all for fun and joy, and she loved it. Yeah, she'd be like, yeah, I've been cooking since 2 o'clock last night. I just got done. Come on in, and be like always feeding us, and yeah, her food was good. Like I said, her grave is about 2.5 hours away from where we live, where me or my parents live, and my parents are getting older too. They haven't been able to go probably to see her, and 2020 has just been a shitty year anyway. So I figured I wanted to do something else, and I need a new challenge. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start upping my mileage a little by little leading up to the event, and then I'll take about 4 or 5 days easy, relaxing to get my body ready. And then I'm going to go for a walk. And the reason why I'm publishing this video clip is so that I'm committed. Because you know me, I have absolutely no discipline. If I just thought about it and didn't talk about it, then I want to do it. And I thought about it, and worst comes to worst, I can still hop on a train and come back. So no, there's nothing really lost for me. And I do kind of like the challenge of walking that long of a distance. So we'll see how it goes. Other things. Oh yeah, I just did a talk for BHAC, which is a conference in Brazil. It's basically an introduction to my Bat Cave. It's like the old MTV Cribs show. Yeah, it was a very Red Man kind of episode. If you don't know what that means, look it up. You'll understand. I don't have a cousin sleeping on my floor though, but and my doorbell works. So, but yeah, so and I think me and Zero and Melandic and Dark Matter we're talking about doing a Wi-Fi hackers wrap up of 2020 kind of thing. Keep an eye on their Twitters when that will go up, when we'll do it. We're just planning it right now. So, but yeah, stay safe, wear a mask, keep on hacking.